Over the past year, hikers all through the Appalachian region have been reporting something unusual. Clusters of trees that seem to shift positions overnight. Now, most people write this off as tall tales, but every once in a while a story comes along that's a lot harder to explain. So one of the most recent comes from West Virginia's Monongahela National Forest. A man named Eric, who's been camping there for over a decade, says he witnessed this himself last spring. So him and his two buddies had planned this 2-night camping trip, but they arrived later than they expected and the sun was already getting behind the ridge. So not wanting to hike deep into the forest in the dark, they set their camp up near a clearing, just off a trail that crossed an old wooden footbridge over a narrow creek. Now, after they had eaten, Eric and one of his friends decided to stretch their legs. They crossed the bridge and found themselves in an odd patch of forest. Maybe 24 tall, leafless trees arranged in a loose semicircle. Their branches were twisted, almost tangled-like, and there wasn't a single sound. No crickets, no frogs, no wind. It was just stillness. And they said it felt like something else, but they couldn't put their finger on it. Now, Eric swears he heard it. A faint, almost breathing-like sound, like whispering, but not, coming from all around them. His friends laughed it off as the wind, but Eric noticed something unusual. The trees seemed to be closer than they were when he first stepped in. Not swaying, but shifting, like their trunks had inched forward when he wasn't looking. Trying to prove himself that it was nothing, Eric walked towards one of the nearest trees, and just when he got within arm's reach, something started to brush the back of his neck. A thin branch, even though the lowest ones were well above his head. He spun around, but there was nothing there. Back at camp, the sky opened up. Heavy rain, wind, and lightning. The kind of storm that makes you wonder if your tent will even hold. So Eric laid there, wide awake, staring out a small mesh window, and every time the lightning flashed, he thought he saw a shape standing behind the tree line. The silhouettes didn't look like normal trees, but they looked like they were leaving in. By morning, the storm had passed. They packed up and crossed the bridge again and froze. The grove was gone. The space where they had stood that night before now was an open patch of grass and wet earth. No stumps, no fallen trees, just nothing to suggest anything had ever even been there. Now, Eric won't say that this is supernatural. Maybe the storm somehow knocked them down. Maybe he and his friends misremembered the exact spot. But he admits one thing still bothers him. There was no sign of damage. No trace where those trees went. What's stranger, other reports have been similar in the same area in the Appalachians over the year. Even videos. So tell me what you think in the comments below.